A Pretty Good World by Frank L. Stanton. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. A Pretty Good World. The world has its faults, but few of us would give it up till we have to. Pretty good world if you take it all round. Pretty good world, good people. Better be on than under the ground. Pretty good world, good people. Better be here where the skies are as blue as the eyes of your sweetheart a smilin' at you. Better than lyin' 'neath daisies and dew. Pretty good world, good people. Pretty good world with its hopes and its fears. Pretty good world, good people. Sun twinkles bright through the rain of its tears. Pretty good world, good people. Better be here in the pathway you know, where the thorns in the garden where sweet roses grow, than to rest where you feel not the fall o' the snow. Pretty good world, good people. Pretty good world, let us sing it that way. Pretty good world, good people. Make up your mind that you're in it to stay, at least for a season, good people. Pretty good world with its dark and its bright. Pretty good world with its love and its light. Sing it that way till you whisper, good night. Pretty good world, good people. Frank L. Stanton. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ode to Duty by William Wordsworth. Read for LibriVox.org by Beth Thomas. In the first stanza, the poet hails duty as coming from God. It is a light to guide us and a rod to check. To obey it does not lead to victory. To obey it is victory, is to live by a high, noble law. In the second stanza, he admits that some people do right without driving themselves to it, do it by instinct and the genial sense of youth. In stanza 3, he looks forward to a time when all people will be thus blessed, but he thinks that as yet it is unsafe for most of us to lose touch completely with stern commanding duty. In stanzas 4 and 5, he states that he himself has been too impatient of control, has wearied himself by changing from one desire to another, and now wishes to regulate his life by some great abiding principle. In stanza 6, he declares that duty, though stern, is benignant. The flowers bloom in obedience to it, and the stars keep their places. In the final stanza, he dedicates his life to its service. Stern daughter of the voice of God, O Duty, if that name thou love, who art a light to guide, a rod to check the erring and reprove. Thou who art victory and law, when empty terrors overawe, from vain temptations dost set free, and calm'st the weary strife of frail humanity. There are who ask not if thine eye be on them, who in love and truth, where no misgiving is, rely upon the genial sense of youth. Glad hearts, without reproach or blot, who do thy work and know it not. Oh, if through confidence misplaced they fail, thy saving arms, dread power, around them cast. Serene will be our days and bright, and happy will our nature be, when love is an unerring light, and joy its own security. And they a blissful course may hold, e'en now who, not unwisely bold, live in the spirit of this creed, yet seek thy firm support, according to their need. I, loving freedom and untried, no sport of every random gust, yet being to myself a guide, too blindly have reposed my trust. And oft when in my heart was heard thy timely mandate, I deferred the task in smoother walks to stray, but thee I now would serve more strictly, if I may. Through no disturbance of my soul, or strong compunction in me wrought, I supplicate for thy control, but in the quietness of thought. Me this uncharted freedom tires, I feel the weight of chance desires. My hopes no more must change their name, I long for a repose that ever is the same. Stern lawgiver, yet thou dost wear the Godhead's most benignant grace, nor know we anything so fair as is the smile upon thy face. Flowers laugh before thee on their beds, and fragrance in thy footing treads. Thou dost preserve the stars from wrong, and the most ancient heavens through thee are fresh and strong. To humbler functions, awful power, I call thee, I myself commend unto thy guidance from this hour. O let my weakness have an end. Give unto me, made lowly wise, the spirit of self-sacrifice. The confidence of reason give, and in the light of truth thy bondman let me live. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Syndicated Smile by St. Clair Adams, read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. The Syndicated Smile. A ready and sincere friendliness is the one thing we can show to every human being, whether we know him or not. The world is full of perplexed and lonely people whom even a smile or a kind look will help. Yet that which is so easy to give we too often reserve for a few, and those perhaps the least appreciative. I knew a girl who had a beau and his name wasn't Adams. No child of hers would ever call the present writer Daddams. I didn't love the girl, but still I found her most beguiling, and so did all the other chaps, she did it with her smiling. I'm not a one-man girl, she said, of smiles my beau first took his, but some are left I'll syndicate and pass them around like cookies. That syndicated smile, when trouble seemed the most in style, it heartened us, that indicated, syndicated smile. It's not enough to please your boss, or fawn round folks with bank rolls. Just be as friendly to the guys whose home spun round their shank rolls. The best investment in the world is goodwill, 20 carat. It costs you nothing, brings returns, so get yours out and air it. A niggard of good nature cheats himself and wrongs his fellows. You'd serve mankind? Then be less close with friendly nods and hellos. The syndicated smile. If you have kept it all the while, you've vindicated the indicated syndicated smile. St. Clair Adams. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Fairy Song by John Keats, read for LibriVox.org by Donald Gilmore. The great beneficent forces of life are not exhausted when once used, but are recurrent. The sun rises afresh each new day. Once a year the springtime returns and God renews his ancient rapture. So it is with our joys. They do not stay by us constantly. They pass from us and are gone. But we need not trouble ourselves. They are sure to come back. Shed no tear, oh shed no tear. The flower will bloom another year. Weep no more, oh weep no more. Young buds sleep in the root's white core. Dry your eyes, oh dry your eyes, for I was taught in paradise to ease my breast of melodies. Shed no tear. Overhead, look overhead, 'mong the blossoms white and red. Look up, I flutter now on this flush pomegranate bough. See me, 'tis the silvery bill ever cures the good man's ill. Shed no tear, oh shed no tear, the flowers will bloom another year. Adieu, adieu, I fly, adieu, I vanish in the heavens blue. Adieu, adieu. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Praise the Generous God's Forgiving by William Ernest Henley, read for LibriVox.org by Melvin Lee. Some of us find joy in toil, some in art, some in the open air and the sunshine. All of us find it in simply being alive. Life is the gift no creature in his right mind would part with, as Milton asks, for who would lose, though full of pain, this intellectual being, these thoughts that wander through eternity, to perish rather, swallowed up and lost in the wide womb of uncreated night, devoid of sense and motion? Praise the generous God's forgiving in a world of wrath and strife, with little time for living, unto all the joy of life. At whatever source we drink it, art or love or faith or wine, in whatever terms we think it, it is common and divine. Praise the high gods, for in giving this to man, and this alone, they have made his chance of living shine, the equal of their own. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Cowards by William Shakespeare. Recorded for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. We might as well accept the inevitable as the inevitable. There is no escaping death or taxes. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. Of all the wonders that I have yet heard, it seems to me most strange that men should fear, seeing that death, a necessary end, will come when it will come. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Word by John Kendrick Bangs. Read for LibriVox.org by Philip Gould. The Cumaean Sibyl offered Tarquin the Proud 9 books for what seemed an exorbitant sum. He refused. She burned 3 of the books and placed the same price on the 6 as on the original 9. Again he refused. She burned 3 more books and offered the remainder for the sum she first named. This time Tarquin accepted. The books were found to contain prophecies and invaluable directions regarding Roman policy, but alas, they were no longer complete. So it is with joy. Take it now to get it in its entirety. To defer until some other occasion is to get less of it, at the same cost. Today, whatever may annoy, the word for it is joy. Just simple joy. The joy of life, the joy of children and of wife, the joy of bright blue skies, the joy of rain, the glad surprise of twinkling stars that shine at night, the joy of winged things upon their flight, the joy of noonday, and the tried, true joyousness of eventide, the joy of labor and of mirth, the joy of air and sea and earth, the countless joys that ever flow from him, whose vast beneficence doth dim the lustrous light of day, and lavish gifts divine upon our way. Whatever there be of sorrow, I'll put off till tomorrow, and when tomorrow comes, why then 'twill be today, and joy again. John Kendrick Bangs. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Envoy by John G. Neidhart. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. Franklin K. Lane stipulated that when he died, his body should be cremated and the ashes scattered from El Capitan over the beautiful Yosemite Valley. He thus symbolized what many of us feel, the unity of our deeper and finer selves with the eternal life and loveliness of nature. O seek me not within a tomb, thou shalt not find me in the clay. I pierce a little wall of gloom to mingle with the day. I brothered with the things that pass, poor giddy joy and puckered grief. I go to brother with the grass and with the sunning leaf. Not death can sheathe me in a shroud, a joy sword wedded keen with pain. I join the armies of the cloud, the lightning and the rain. O subtle in the sap a thrill, athletic in the glad uplift, a portion of the cosmic will, I pierce the planet drift. My God and I shall interknit as rain and ocean, breath and air, and oh, the luring thought of it is prayer. John G. Neidhart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Jah by St. Clair Adams. Read for LibriVox by Corinne LePage. We all like a firm, straightforward chin, provided it is not ruled by a wagging, gossiping tongue. This fellow's jaw is built so frail that you could break it like a weed. That fellow's chin retreats until you'd think it in a wild stampede. Defects like these but show how soon the purpose droops, the spirit's flag. We like a jaw that's made of steel, just so it's not inclined to wag. The lower jaw should be as strong and changeless as a granite cliff. Its very look should be a thus, and not a maybe, somehow, if. Should mark a soul so resolute, it will not fear or cease or lag. We need a rugged mandible, provided we don't let it wag. Yes, with endurance let it too a tender modesty possess, and to its grim strength let it add the gracious power of gentleness. Above all, let its might of deeds induce no loud or vulgar brag. We like to see a good, firm jaw, but do not wish to hear it wag.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Conqueror by Burton Braley. Read for LibriVox by Corinne LePage. Age is wise. It attempts nothing impossible. Youth is wiser. It believes nothing impossible. Age conserves more. Youth accomplishes more. Between the two is an irreconcilable difference. Crabbed age and youth cannot live together, as Shakespeare says, and the sympathy of the world is with youth. For though many cherished things would be saved from sacrifice if rash immaturity were more often checked, progress would be stayed if life were dominated by sterile and repressive age. Room for me, greybeards, room! Make room! Menace me not with your eyes of gloom. Jostle me not from the place I seek, for my arms are strong and your own are weak. And if my plea to you be denied, I'll thrust your wearying forms aside. Pity you? Yes, but I cannot stay. I am the spirit of youth. Make way! Room for me, timid ones, room, make room! Little I care for your fret and fume. I laugh at sorrow and jeer defeat. To doubt and doubters I give the lie, and fear is stilled as I swagger by. And life's a fight, and I seek the fray. I'm the spirit of youth, make way! Room for me, mighty ones, room, make room! I fear no power, and dread no doom. And you who curse me, and you who bless, alike must bow to my dauntlessness. I topple the king from his golden throne. I smash old idols of brass and stone. I am not hampered by yesterday. Room for the spirit of youth, make way! Room for me, all of you, make me room, where the rifles clash and the cannon boom, where glory beckons, or love, or fame. I plunge me heedlessly in the game. The old, the wary, the wise, the great, they cannot stay me, for I am fate, the brave young master of all good play. I am the spirit of youth, make way! End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Is it raining, little flower? Read for LibriVox.org. Sweet are the uses of adversity. They bring us benefits not otherwise to be had. To mope because of them is foolish. Showers alternate with sunshine, sorrows with pleasure, pain and weariness with comfort and rest. But accept the one as necessary to the other, and you will enjoy both. Is it raining, little flower? Be glad of rain. Too much sun would wither thee. 'Twill shine again. The sky is very black, 'tis true, but just behind it shines the blue. Art thou weary, tender heart? Be glad of pain. In sorrow the sweetest things will grow as flowers in the rain. God watches, and thou wilt have sun when clouds their perfect work have done. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Gradatim by J. G. Holland, read for LibriVox.org, by Jason in Panama. In the old fable the tortoise won the race from the hare, not by a single burst of speed, but by plodding on steadily, tirelessly. In the Civil War it was found that Lee's army could not be overwhelmed in a single battle, but one Federal general perceived that it could be worn down by time and the pressure of numbers. "I propose," said Grant, "to fight it out on this line if it takes all summer." It took more than a summer. It took nearly a year. But he did it. In the moral realm likewise, all things excellent are as difficult as they are rare. Character is not attained overnight. The only way to develop moral muscles is to exercise them patiently and long. Heaven is not reached at a single bound, but we build the ladder by which we rise from the lowly earth to the vaulted skies, and we mount to its summit, round by round. I count this thing to be grandly true, that a noble deed is a step towards God, lifting the soul from the common clod to a purer air and a broader view. We rise by the things that are under feet, by what we have mastered of good and gain, by the pride deposed and the passion slain, and the vanquished ills that we hourly meet. We hope, we aspire, we resolve, we trust, when the morning calls us to life and light, but our hearts grow weary, and ere the night our lives are trailing the sordid dust. We hope, we resolve, we aspire, we pray, and we think that we mount the air on wings beyond the recall of sensual things, while our feet still cling to the heavy clay. Wings for the angels, but feet for men. We may borrow the wings to find the way. We may hope, and resolve, and aspire, and pray, but our feet must rise or we fall again. Only in dreams is a ladder thrown from the weary earth to the sapphire walls, but the dreams depart, and the vision falls, and the sleeper wakes on his pillow of stone. Heaven is not reached at a single bound, but we build the ladder by which we rise from the lowly earth to the vaulted skies, and we mount to its summit, round by round. J. G. Holland. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Rules for the Road by Edwin Markham. Read for LibriVox.org by S.K. Rules for the Road. Ardor of sinew and spirit, what else do we need to make our journey prosperous and happy? Stand straight, step firmly, throw your weight. The heaven is high above your head. The good grey road is faithful to your tread. Be strong, sing to your heart a battle song. Though hidden foemen lie in wait, something is in you that can smile at fate. Press through, nothing can harm if you are true, and when the night comes, rest, the earth is friendly as a mother's breast. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Life by Griffith Alexander, read for LibriVox.org by Beth Thomas. What is life, we ask? Just one darned thing after another, the cynic replies. Yes, a multiplicity of forces and interests, and each of them, even the disagreeable, may be of real help to us. It's good for a dog, says the shrewd philosopher, to be pestered with fleas. It keeps him from thinking too much about being a dog. What's life? A story or a song? A race on any track? A gay adventure, short or long? A puzzling nut to crack? A grinding task? A pleasant stroll? A climb? A slide downhill? A constant striving for a goal? A cake? A bitter pill? A pit where fortune flouts or stings? A playground full of fun? With many, any of these things. With others, all in one. What's life? to love the things we see, the hills that touch the skies, the smiling sea, the laughing lea, the light in woman's eyes. To work and love the work we do, to play a game that's square, to grin a bit when feeling blue, with friends our joys to share. To smile, though games be lost or won, to earn our daily bread, and when at last the day is done, to tumble into bed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Hoe Your Row by Frank L. Stanton. Read for LibriVox.org by Philip Gould. We must not dream of harvests and neglect the toil that produces them. The fields'll soon be hummin' round the country high and low. The harvest is a comin'. Hoe your row, hoe your row. No time now for de sleeper. It's get up now and go. It's de sower makes de reaper. Hoe your row, hoe your row. It's sweet de birds is singin' de songs you lovin' so, but the harvest bells is ringin'. Hoe your row, hoe your row. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Borrowing Trouble by Robert Burns. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. It is bad enough to cry over spilt milk, but many of us do worse. We cry over milk that we think is going to be spilt. In line 1, sick equals such. 2, equals all. 3, nay equals no. 4, enow equals enough. 5, hay equals have. Sturt equals fret, trouble. But human bodies are sick fools, for their colleges and schools, when we nae real ills perplex 'em, they make enow themselves to vex them, and aye the less they hae to sturt them, in like proportion less will hurt them. Robert Burns. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Undismayed by James W. Foley. Read for LibriVox.org by Philip Gould. A convict explained to a visitor why he had been sent to the penitentiary. "They can't put you in here for that," the visitor exclaimed. "They did," replied the convict. So smiling seems a futile thing. Apparently it cannot get us anywhere. But it does. He came up smilin'. Used to say he made his fortune that away. He had hard luck a plenty too, but settled down and fought her through, and every time he got a jolt he just took on a tighter holt, slipped back some when he tried to climb, but came up smilin' every time. He came up smilin', used to get his share of knocks, but he had grit, and if they hurt he didn't set around the grocery store and fret. He just grabbed fortune by the hair and hung on till he got his share. He had the grit in him to stay and come up smilin' every day. He just gripped hard and all alone, like a set bull pup with a bone, and if he got shook loose, why, then he got up and grabbed holt again. He didn't have no time, he'd say, to bother about yesterday, and when there was a prize to win he came up smilin' and pitched in. He came up smilin', good for him. He had the grit and pluck and vim, so he's on Easy Street, and derned if I don't think his luck is earned. No matter if he lost sometimes, he's got the stuff in him that climbs, and when his chance was mighty slim he came up smilin'. Good for him. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Hero by Florence Earle Coates. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. If defeat strengthens and sweetens character, it is not defeat at all, but victory. He sang of joy, whate'er he knew of sadness he kept for his own heart's peculiar share. So well he sang, the world imagined gladness to be sole tenant there. For dreams were his, And in the dawn's fair shining his spirit soared beyond the mounting lark. But from his lips no accent of repining fell when the days grew dark. And though contending long dread fate to master, he failed at last her enmity to cheat. He turned with such a smile to face disaster, that he sublimed defeat. Florence Earle Coates. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Will by Alfred Tennyson. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. Will. I can resist anything but temptation, says a character in one of Oscar Wilde's plays. Too many of us have exactly this strength of will. We perhaps do not fall into gross crime, but because of our flabby resolution, our lives become purposeless, negative, negligible. No one would miss us in particular if we were out of the way. Oh well for him whose will is strong! He suffers, but he will not suffer long. He suffers, but he cannot suffer wrong. For him nor moves the loud world's random mock, Nor all calamity's hugest waves confound; Who seems a promontory of rock, That, compassed round with turbulent sound, In middle ocean meets the surging shock, Tempest buffeted, citadel crowned. But ill for him who, bettering not with time, Corrupts the strength of heaven descended will, And ever weaker grows through acted crime, Or seeming genial venial fault, Recurring and suggesting still. He seems as one whose footsteps halt, Toiling in immeasurable sand, And o'er a weary sultry land, Far beneath a blazing vault, Sown in a wrinkle of the monstrous hill, The city sparkles like a grain of salt. Alfred Tennyson. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Fable by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Read for LibriVox.org by S.K. Fable. To be impressed by a thing merely because it is big is a human failing. Yet our standard of judgment would be truer if we considered instead the success of that thing in performing its own particular task. And quality is better than quantity. The lioness in the old fable was being taunted because she bore only one offspring at a time, not a numerous litter. It is true, she admitted, but that one is a lion. The mountain and the squirrel had a quarrel, and the former called the latter little prig. Bun replied, "You're doubtless very big, but all sorts of things in weather must be taken in together to make up a year and a sphere, and I think it no disgrace to occupy my place. If I'm not so large as you, you're not so small as I, and not half so spry. I'll not deny you make a very pretty squirrel track. Talents differ, all is well and wisely put. If I cannot carry forests on my back, neither can you crack a nut." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Duty by Edwin Markham. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. Duty. When Duty comes a knocking at your gate, welcome him in, for if you bid him wait, he will depart only to come once more and bring 7 other duties to your door. Edwin Markham. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Prayer for Pain by John G. Neihardt. Read for LibriVox.org by Melvin Lee. The thief steals from himself. The swindler swindles himself, says Emerson. Apparent gain may be actual loss. Material escape may be spiritual imprisonment. Anyone may idle, but the men who are not content unless they climb the unscalable mountains or cross the uncharted seas or bear the burdens that others shrink from, are the ones who keep the heritage of the Spirit undiminished. I do not pray for peace nor ease, nor truce from sorrow. No suppliant on servile knees begs here against tomorrow. Lean flame against lean flame we flash. O fates that meet me fair! Blue steel against blue steel we clash. Lay on, and I shall dare. But thou of deeps, the awful deep, thou breather in the clay, grant this my only prayer: O keep my soul from turning gray. For until now, whatever wrought against my sweet desires, my days were smitten harps strung taut, my nights were slumberous lyres, and howsoe'er the hard blow rang upon my battered shield, some lark-like soaring spirit sang above my battlefield, and through my soul of stormy night the zigzag blue flame ran. I asked no odds, I fought my fight, events against a man. But now, at last, the grey mist chokes and numbs me. Leave me, pain. Oh, let me feel the biting strokes, that I may fight again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Steadfast by Everard Jack Appleton. Read for LibriVox.org by Melvin Lee. No one ever has a trouble so great that some other person has not a greater. The thought of the heroism shown by those more grievously afflicted than we helps us to bear our own ills patiently. If I can help another bear an ill by bearing mine with somewhat of good grace, can take fate's thrusts with not so long a face, and help him through his trials, then I will. For do not braver men than I decline to bow to troubles graver far than mine? Pain twists this body, yes, but it shall not distort my soul by all the gods that be. And when it's done its worst, pain's victory shall be an empty one. Whate'er my lot, my banner, ragged but nailed to the mast, shall fly triumphant to the very last. Others so much worse off than I have fought, have smiled, have met defeat with unbent head. They shame me into following where they led. Can I ignore the lesson they have taught? Strike hands with me. Dark is the way we go, but souls courageous line it, that I know. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. If by John Kendrick Bangs. Read for LibriVox.org by Melvin Lee. If I were fire, I'd burn the world away. If I were wind, I'd turn my storms thereon. If I were water, I'd soon let it drown. Secco Angulari. If I were fire, I'd seek the frozen north, and warm it till it blossomed fairly forth, and in the sweetness of its smiling mien resembled some soft southern garden scene. And when the winter came again, I'd seek the chilling homes of lowly ones and meek, and do my small but most efficient part to bring a wealth of comfort to the heart. If I were wind, I'd turn my breath upon the calm-bound mariner, till anon the eager craft on which he sailed should find the harbor blessed towards which it hath inclined. And in the city streets, when summer's days were withering the soul with scorching rays, I'd seek the fevered brow and aching eyes, and take to them a touch of paradise. If I were water, it would be my whim to seek out all earth's desert places grim, and turn each arid acre to a fair, lush home of flowers and oasis rare. Resolved in dew, I'd nestle in the rose. As summer rain, I'd ease the harvest woes. And where a tear to pain would be relief, a tear I'd be to kill the sting of grief. If I were gold, I'd seek the poor man's purse. I'd try to win my way into the verse of some grand singer of man's brotherhood, and prove myself so pure, so fraught with good, that all the world would bless me for the cup of happiness I brought for all to sup. And when at last my work of joy was o'er, I'd be content to die, and be no more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Gifts of God by George Herbert. Read for LibriVox.org by Melvin Lee. Why are we never entirely satisfied? Why are we never at absolute peace or rest? Many are the answers that have been made to this question. The answer here given by the poet is that so richly is man endowed with qualities and attributes that, if contentment were added to them, he would be satisfied with what he has, and would not strive for that which is higher still, the fulfillment of his spiritual cravings. When God at first made man, having a glass of blessings standing by, let us, said he, pour on him all we can. Let the world's riches, which dispersed lie, contract into a span. So strength first made a way, then beauty flowed, then wisdom, honor, pleasure. When almost all was out, God made a stay, perceiving that alone, of all his treasure, rest in the bottom lay. For if I should, said he, bestow this jewel also on my creature, he would adore my gifts instead of me, and rest in nature, not the God of nature. So both should losers be. Yet let him keep the rest, but keep them with repining restlessness. Let him be rich and weary, that at least, if goodness lead him not, yet weariness may toss him to my breast. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Philosopher by John Kendrick Bangs. Read for LibriVox.org by Kathleen. The web of our life is of mingled yarn, good and ill together, says Shakespeare. It behooves us therefore to find the good and to make the best of the ill. Two men were falling from an aeroplane. I'll bet you $5, said one, that I hit the ground first. To take things as they be, that's my philosophy. No use to holler, mope, or cuss. If they was changed they might be wuss. If rain is pourin' down, and lightnin' buzzin' round, I ain't a-fearin' we'll be hit, but grin that I ain't out in it. If I got deep in debt, it hasn't happened yet, and owed a man $2, gee, why I'd be glad it wasn't 3. If someone comes along and tried to do me wrong, why I should sort of take a whim to thank the Lord I wasn't him. I never seen a night so dark there wasn't light somewheres about if I took care to strike a match and find out where. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Life Without Passion by William Shakespeare. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. The Life Without Passion. A person may feel deeply without shouting his emotion to the skies, or be strong without seizing occasions to exhibit his strength. In truth, we distrust the power which makes too much a display of itself. Let it exert itself only to the point of securing the ends that are really necessary. Restraint, self-control are in truth more mighty than might unshackled, just as a self-possessed opponent is more dangerous than a frenzied one. Moreover, there is a moral side to the question. A good quality, if abused or allowed free sway, becomes a force for evil, and does its owner more harm than if he had not possessed it in the first place. They that have power to hurt, and will do none, that do not do the thing they must do show, who, moving others, are themselves as stone, unmoved, cold, and to temptation show. They rightly do inherit heaven's graces, and husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others but stewards of their excellence. The summer's flower is to the summer sweet, though to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with base infection meet, the basest weed outbraves his dignity. For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds, lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. William Shakespeare. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Character of a Happy Life by Sir Henry Wotton. Read for LibriVox.org by S.K. Character of a Happy Life. "I'd rather be right than president," said Henry Clay. It is to men who are animated by this spirit that the greatest satisfaction in life comes. For true blessedness does not lie far off and above us. It is close at hand. Booker T. Washington once told a story of a ship that had exhausted its supply of fresh water and signaled its need to a passing vessel. The reply was, quote, "Send down your buckets where you are." End quote. Thinking there was some misunderstanding, the captain repeated his signal, only to be answered as before. This time he did as he was bidden and secured an abundance of fresh water. His ship was opposite the mouth of a mighty river, which still kept its current unmingled with the waters of the ocean. How happy is he, born and taught, that serveth not another's will, whose armour is his honest thought, and simple truth his utmost skill, whose passions not his masters are, whose soul is still prepared for death, not tied unto the world with care of public fame or private breath, who envies none that chance doth raise, or wise, who never understood how deepest wounds are given by praise, nor rules of state, but rules of good, who hath his life from rumors freed, whose conscience is his strong retreat, whose state can neither flatterers feed, nor ruin make accusers great, who God doth late and early pray, more of his grace than gifts to lend, and entertains the harmless day with a well-chosen book or friend. This man is freed from servile bands of hope to rise or fear to fall, lord of himself though not of lands, and having nothing yet hath all. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Essentials by St. Clair Adams. Read for LibriVox.org by S.K. Essentials. The things here named are essential to a happy and successful life. They may not be the only essentials. Roll up your sleeves, lad, and begin. Disarm misfortune with a grin. Let discontent not wag your chin. Let gratitude. Don't try to find things all askew. Don't be afraid of what is new, nor banish as unsound, untrue, a platitude. If folks don't act as you would choose, remember life is varied. Use your common sense. Don't get the blues. Show latitude. Sing, though in quavering sharps and flats. Love, though the folk you love are cats. Work, though you're worn and weary. That's the attitude. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Stone Rejected by Edwin Markham. Read for LibriVox.org by Heart to Voice to Heart. The story here, poetically retold of the great Florentine sculptor, shows how much a lofty spirit may make of unpromising material. For years it had been trampled in the street of Florence by the drift of heedless feet. The stone that star-touched Michelangelo turned to that marble loveliness we know.
You mind the tale, how he was passing by when the rude marble caught his Jovian eye. That stone men had dishonored and had thrust out to the insult of the wayside dust. He stooped to lift it from its mean estate and bore it on his shoulder to the gate, where all day long 100 hammers rang, and soon his chisel around the marble sang. And suddenly the hidden angel shone. It had been waiting, prisoned in the stone. Thus came the cherub with a laughing face that long has lighted up an altar place. By Edwin Markham. From The Gates of Paradise and Other Poems. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Good Deeds by William Shakespeare. Read for LibriVox.org by S.K. Good Deeds. The influence of good deeds usually extends far beyond the limits we can see or trace, but as well not have the power to do them as not use it. How far that little candle throws his beams, so shines a good deed in a naughty world. Heaven doth with us as we with torches do, not light them for themselves, for if our virtues did not go forth of us, 'twere all alike as if we had them not. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. You May Count That Day by George Eliot. Read for LibriVox.org by S.K. You May Count That Day. A class of little settlement girls besought Mrs. George Herbert Palmer one insufferable summer morning to tell them how to be happy. "I'll give you 3 rules," she said, "and you must keep them every day for a week. First, commit something good to memory each day. 3 or 4 words will do, just a pretty bit of poem or a Bible verse. Do you understand?" A girl jumped up. "I know. You want us to learn something we'd be glad to remember if we went blind." Mrs. Palmer was relieved. These children understood. She gave the 3 rules. Memorize something good each day. See something beautiful each day. Do something helpful each day. When the children reported at the end of the week, not a single day had any of them lost. But hard put to it to obey her? Indeed, they had been. One girl, kept for 24 hours within squalid home walls by a rain, had nevertheless seen 2 beautiful things: a sparrow taking a bath in the gutter, and a gleam of sunlight on a baby's hair. If you sit down at set of sun and count the acts that you have done, and counting find one self-denying deed, one word that eased the heart of him who heard, one glance most kind that fell like sunshine where it went, then you may count that day well spent. But if through all the livelong day you have cheered no heart by yea or nay, if through it all you have nothing done that you can trace that brought the sunshine to one face, no act most small that helped some soul and nothing cost, then count that day as worse than lost. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sadness and Merriment by William Shakespeare. Read for LibriVox.org by Melvin Lee. In this passage, Antonio states that he is overcome by a sadness he cannot account for. Salarino tells him that the mental attitude is everything, that mirth is as easy as gloom, that nature in her freakishness makes some men laugh at trifles until their eyes become mere slits, yet leaves others dour and unsmiling before jests that would convulse even the venerable Nestor. Gratiano maintains that Antonio is too absorbed in worldly affairs and that he must not let his spirits grow sluggish and irritable. Antonio. In sooth, I know not why I am so sad. It wearies me. You say it wearies you, but how I caught it, found it, or came by it, what stuff 'tis made of, whereof it is born, I am to learn. Salarino. Then let's say you are sad because you are not merry, and 'twere as easy for you to laugh and leap, and say you are merry because you are not sad. Now, by two-headed Janus, Nature hath framed strange fellows in her time, some that will evermore peep through their eyes, and laugh like parrots at a bagpiper, and other of such vinegar aspect that they'll not show their teeth in a way of smile, though Nestor swear the jest be laughable. Gratiano. You look not well, Signor Antonio. You have too much respect upon the world. They lose it that do buy it with much care. Believe me, you are marvellously changed. Antonio. I hold the world but as the world, Gratiano, a stage where every man must play a part, and mine a sad one. Gratiano. Let me play the fool. With mirth and laughter let old wrinkles come, and let my liver rather heat with wine than my heart cool with mortifying groans. Why should a man whose blood is warm within sit like his grandsire cut in alabaster, sleep when he wakes, and creep into a jaundice by being peevish? Fare you well a while. I'll end my exhortation after dinner. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Appreciation by William Judson Kibbe. Read for LibriVox.org by Melvin Lee. Life's a bully good game with its kicks and cuffs. Some smile, some laugh, some bluff. Some carry a load too heavy to bear, while some push on with never a care. But the load will seldom heavy be when I appreciate you and you appreciate me. He who lives by the side of the road and helps to bear his brother's load may seem to travel lone and long, while the world goes by with a merry song. But the heart grows warm and sorrows flee when I appreciate you and you appreciate me. When I appreciate you and you appreciate me, the road seems short to victory. It buoys one up and calls, "Come on," and days grow brighter with the dawn. There is no doubt or mystery. When I appreciate you and you appreciate me, it's the greatest thought in heaven or earth. It helps us know our fellow's worth. There'd be no wars or bitterness, no fear, no hate, nor grasping. Yes, it makes work play and the careworn free, when I appreciate you and you appreciate me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Keep Sweet by Strickland W. Gilliland. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. Keep sweet. Even the direst catastrophes may be softened by your attitude to them. Charles II said to those who had gathered about his deathbed, "You'll pardon any little lapses, gentlemen. I've never done this thing before." Don't be foolish and get sour when things don't just come your way. Don't you be a pampered baby and declare, "Now I won't play." Just go grinning on and bear it. Have you heartache? Millions share it. If you earn a crown, you'll wear it. Keep sweet. Don't go handing out your troubles to your busy fellowmen. If you whine around, they'll try to keep from meeting you again. Don't declare the world's agin you. Don't let pessimism win you. Prove there's lots of good stuff in you. Keep sweet. If your dearest hopes seem blighted and despair looms into view, set your jaw and whisper grimly, "Though they're false, yet I'll be true." Never let your heart grow bitter, with your lips to hope's transmitter. Hear love's songbirds bravely twitter. Keep sweet. Bless your heart, this world's a good one, and will always help a man. Hate, misanthropy, and malice have no place in nature's plan. Help your brother there who's sighing, keep his flag of courage flying. Help him try, 'twill keep you trying. Keep sweet. Strickland W. Gillilan. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Morality by Matthew Arnold. Read for LibriVox.org by S.K. Morality. We can't always, even when accomplishing, have the ardor of accomplishment. We can only hold to the purpose formed in more inspired hours. After a work is finished, even though it be a good work which our final judgment will approve, we are likely to be oppressed for a time by the anxieties we have passed through. The comfort of effort has left us, and we recall our dreams, our intentions, beside which our actual achievement seems small. In such moments, we should remember that just after the delivery of the Gettysburg Address, Lincoln believed it an utter failure. Yet the address was a masterpiece of commemorative oratory. We cannot kindle, when we will, the fire which in the heart resides. The Spirit bloweth and is still, in mystery our soul abides. But tasks in hours of insight willed can be, through hours of gloom, fulfilled. With aching hands and bleeding feet, we dig and heap, lay stone on stone. We bear the burden and the heat of the long day and wish 'twere done. Not till the hours of light return, all we have built do we discern. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Hymn to Happiness by James W. Foley. Read for LibriVox.org by Melvin Lee. A man who owed Artemis Ward $200 fell into such hard circumstances that Artemis offered to knock off half the debt. "I won't let you outdo me in generosity," said the man. "I'll knock off the other half." Similarly, when we resolve to live down our causes of gloom, fate comes to our aid and removes most of them altogether. Let us smile along together, be the weather what it may, through the waste and wealth of hours, plucking flowers by the way. Fragrance from the meadows blowing, not of heat or hatred knowing, kindness seeking, kindness sowing, not tomorrow, but today. Let us sing along, beguiling grief to smiling in the song. With the promises of heaven let us leaven the day long, gliding all the duller seemings with the roselight of our dreamings, splashing clouds with sunlight's gleamings here and there and all along. Let us live along, the sorrow of tomorrow never heed. In the pages of the present, what is pleasant only read. Bells but pealing, never knelling, hearts with gladness ever swelling, tides of charity upwelling in our every dream and deed. Let us hope along together, be the weather what it may, where the sunlight glad is shining, not repining by the way. Seek to add our meed and measure to the old earth's joy and treasure. Quaff the crystal cup of pleasure, not tomorrow, but today. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Opportunity by Edwin Markham. Read for LibriVox.org by S.K. Opportunity. Procrastination is not only the thief of time, it is also the grave of opportunity. In an old city by the storied shores, where the bright summit of Olympus soars, a cryptic statue mounted towards the light, heel-winged, tiptoed, and poised for instant flight. "O statue, tell your name," a traveler cried, and solemnly the marble lips replied. "Men call me Opportunity. I lift my winged feet from earth to show how swift my flight, how short my stay, how fate is ever waiting on the way. But why that tossing ringlet on your brow? That men may seize me any moment now. Now is my other name, today is my date. O traveler, tomorrow is too late. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. To a Young Man by Edgar A. Guest. Read for LibriVox.org by S.K. To a Young Man. Jones write a book? Impossible. I knew his father. This attitude towards distinction of any sort, whether in authorship or in the field of action, is characteristic of many of us. We think transcendent ability is entirely above and apart from the things of ordinary life. Yet genius itself has been defined as common sense in an uncommon degree. The great men are human. Shakespeare remembered this when he said, quote, "I think the king is but a man as I am." End quote. We should take heart at the thought that since the great are like us, we may develop ourselves until we are like them. The great were once as you, they whom men magnify today, once groped and blundered on life's way, were fearful of themselves and thought by magic was men's greatness wrought. They feared to try what they could do, yet fame had crowned with her success the self-same gifts that you possess. The great were young as you, dreaming the very dreams you hold, longing yet fearing to be bold, doubting that they themselves possessed the strength and skill for every test, uncertain of the truths they knew, not sure that they could stand to fate with all the courage of the great. Then came a day when they their first bold venture made, scorning to cry for aid. They dared to stand to fight alone, took up the gauntlet life had thrown, charged full front to the fray, mastered the fear of self, and then learned that our great men are but men. O youth, go forth and do. You too to fame may rise. You can be strong and wise. Stand up to life and play the man. You can if you will but think you can. The great were once as you. You envy them their proud success. It was won with gifts that you possess. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Slogan by Jane Moline. Read for LibriVox.org by Jason in Panama. Slogan. Some men want ideal conditions with pay in advance before they will work, but the world does not want such men, and has little place for them. Don't prate about what is your right, but bare your fists and show your might. Life is another man to fight catch as catch can. Don't talk of life as scurvy fate, who gave you favors just too late, or luck who threw you smiles for bait before he ran. Don't whine and wish that you were dead, but wrestle for your daily bread, and afterward let it be said, he was a man. Jane Moline. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Smiles by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Kathleen. Smiles bring out the latent energies within us, as water reveals the bright colors in the stone it flows over. Smile a little, as you go along, not alone when life is pleasant, but when things go wrong. Care delights to see you frowning, loves to hear you sigh. Turn a smiling face upon her. Quick, the dame will fly. Smile a little, all along the road. Every life must have its burden, every heart its load. Why sit down in gloom and darkness, with your grief to sup? As you drink fate's bitter tonic, smile across the cup. Smile upon the troubled pilgrims whom you pass and meet. Frowns are thorns, and smiles are blossoms off for weary feet. Do not make the way seem harder by a sullen face. Smile a little, brighten up the place. Smile upon your undone labor, not for one who grieves o'er his task, waits wealth or glory. He who smiles achieves. Though you meet with loss and sorrow in the passing years, smile a little, even through your tears. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sit Down, Sad Soul by Brian Waller Proctor. Read for LibriVox.org by Tovarish. A watched pot never boils. Though the pot be the pot of happiness, the proverb still holds true. Sit down, sad soul, and count the moments flying. Come, tell the sweet amount that's lost by sighing. How many smiles? A score? Then laugh and count no more, for day is dying. Lie down, sad soul, and sleep, and no more measure the flight of time, nor weep the loss of leisure. But here, by this lone stream, lie down with us and dream of starry treasure. We dream, do thou the same, we love forever, we'll laugh, yet few we shame, the gentle never. Stay then till sorrow dies, then hope and happy skies are thine forever. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Song of Endeavour by James W. Foley from The Voices of Song. Read for LibriVox.org by Tovarish. Don Quixote discovered that there are no eggs in last year's birds' nests. Many of us waste our time in regrets for the past, without seeming to perceive that hope lies only in endeavour for the future. 'Tis not by wishing that we gain the prize, no yet by rueing, but from our falling, learning how to rise, and tireless doing. The idols broken, nor our tears and sighs may yet restore them. Regret is only for fools, the wise look but before them. Nor ever yet success was wooed with tears. To notes of gladness alone the fickle goddess turns her ears, she hears not sadness. The heart thrives not in the dull rain and mist of gloomy pining. The sweetest flowers are the flowers sun-kissed, where glad light's shining. Look not behind thee, there is only dust and vain regretting. The lost tide ebbs, in the next flood thou must learn by forgetting. For the lost chances be ye not distressed to endless weeping. Be not the thrush that o'er the empty nest is vigil keeping. But in new efforts our regrets today to stillness whiling, let us in some pure purpose find the way to future smiling. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Keep a Going by Frank L. Stanton from the Atlanta Constitution. Read for LibriVox.org by Tovarish. Some men fail and quit. Some succeed and quit. The wise refuse to quit, whether they fail or succeed. If you strike a thorn or rose, keep a going. If it hails or if it snows, keep a going. 'Tain't no use to sit and whine when the fish ain't on your line. Bait your hook and keep a trying, keep a going. When the weather kills your crop, keep a going. When you tumble from the top, keep a going. S'pose you're out of every dime, being so ain't any crime. Tell the world you're feeling prime, keep a going. When it looks like all is up, keep a going. Drain the sweetness from the cup, keep a going. See the wild birds on the wing, hear the bells that sweetly ring. When you feel like sighing, sing, keep a going. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. When Earth's Last Picture is Painted by Rudyard Kipling From Rudyard Kipling's Verse, 1885-1918. Read for LibriVox.org by Tavarish. What is it that a human being wants? Most of us have something that we like to do more than anything else. We are not free to do it as we wish. We are handicapped by the need to earn a living, by physical weariness, by the carpings and scoffs of the envious, by the limited time we have at our disposal. But underneath all this is the spirit of work, the desire to take up our task for its own sake alone, to give our whole selves to it, to carry it through, not in some partial way, but in accordance with the fullness of our dream. We want to be free from distractions and interruptions. If we are driven at all, we want it to be by our own inner promptings, not by obligation or necessity. Of course, these favorable, these ideal conditions belong to heaven, not to earth. Kipling here explains what they will mean to the artist, the painter. But in doing so, he expresses the longings of the true workman, of whatsoever sort. He sums up the true spirit of work. When earth's last picture is painted, and the tubes are twisted and dried, when the oldest colors have faded, and the youngest critic has died, we shall rest, and faith we shall need it, lie down for an aeon or two, till the Master of all good workmen shall set us to work anew. And those that were good will be happy, they shall sit in a golden chair, they shall splash at a 10-league canvas with brushes of comets' hair. They shall find real saints to draw from, Magdalene, Peter, and Paul. They shall work for an age at a sitting, and never be tired at all. And only the Master shall praise us, and only the Master shall blame, and no one shall work for money, and no one shall work for fame, but each for the joy of the working, and each in his separate star shall draw the thing as he sees it, for the God of things as they are. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of It Can Be Done by Various.